Palandjoglou. It's Palandjoglou at the end. Alejandro has blown our minds. I mean, he has been here for 3 months, 4 months, almost 4 months, and he has done probably over almost, I would say, 15 to 20 projects, some successes, some experiments, let's put it that way. Alejandro has also been a really awesome personality that we've had around up here, and we're going to miss him a lot. So I'm really excited to let Alejandro show you what he's been working on.
Oh. Hello. Yes. Okay. I'm Alejandro. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I'm an industrial designer. And after I graduated, I started working for 2 design firms. And at that time, I was going to night school and doing some furniture, a master's in furniture design as well. But that led to me to open my own design furniture company, and things were going pretty well. These are some examples of the work I was doing, but it was mostly high-end furniture. And I was also featured in a book, which was great, but kind of felt that I wanted another experience in my life, and I wanted to move, different country, change. And in 2010, I came to the US and I did a master's in product design at Stanford. Part of the reason was that I also wanted to make more meaningful products. And one example is this project I started in a class with a medicine student and an MBA. We traveled to Bangladesh and worked on a medical device, which is currently, they're currently using. It's for bubble CPAP. It stands for continuous positive airway pressure. It saves babies from pneumonia, basically. And yeah, that's our first user when we were there, and that's David, the doctor. I also did some fun stuff. I could combine my passions. Soccer is a great deal in Argentina, and furniture maker, and yeah. So man against machine there. And I also wanted to learn Arduino, and this is kind of a small project I did. It's an Etch-a-Sketch. It was fun, and then I did some contract work. I've been doing some contract work for SRI. It stands for Stanford Research Institute. I'm in their robotics department and doing kind of classified, things for the U.S. government. And but that wasn't quite it, and I wanted to do some other, creative work, and that's why I came here, and just get my creative confidence back and just have fun. And I'm going to show you what I did here. So this is you guys probably seen this. There's this line of furniture I made. It's P9 for 9. Just so this is the chair. Most of the CNC chairs are not as aesthetically pleasing. They are just they just kind of 90-degree angle. They're stiff. So I wanted to give a little bit of organic shape. These are all made at the ShopBot. It's a CNC router. First make the pockets, and then you cut the profile of the chair. And basically a chair is, this is a 4x2 sheet. A chair is like one and a half of these. It's a really interesting piece of equipment, and it's fun, and I've used it a lot. So you'll see over and over some of the projects. It's pretty cool. So these are all the parts unassembled. And once I put it all over the table, I thought this would be pretty cool for IKEA, right? Pure Ninan. It wasn't quite perfect, so I had to, you buy 3/4 ply, and it's never 3/4 ply. It's like, off. So even if I measure it and put it on the ShopBot, you have to do some retouches, so I had to cut that piece off so it fit nicely and snug. And these are just constructing. assembling the piece. I used clamps because they're quite strong, and left it overnight. And these were the glamour shots I took the other day. So I did a line, and this is the stool, P9S for stool. This video is pretty cool. When you cut, you make like several passes, and you can see the depth. And here also, like it's 3/4, well, a little bit over in this case. And you cut like probably, depending on the bit you're using, you probably have to do like 3 or 4 passes. So, and you like, I had the window, I had to film it over there. Melamine is sharp. I cut myself a couple of times this week just by taking photos and moving. But I use a router table to sand, to just, curve the edges. But in this case, I didn't like it too much because melamine had that dark MDF. I don't know what material it is. So I didn't use it for this case, but I did for the maple, which was, yeah, so you don't cut your fingers when you touch this one. So yeah, now it's lounge chair. Lounge chair was kind of tricky because 4x2 sheet, and the lounge chair is more big and it doesn't fit quite. So I had to turn it, and it barely fit. You can see that picture. And the same process, just kind of like very similar assembly-wise. There you have the pure nonin. So at our air lounge or air area, we just moved a few furniture and we put a couch, but kind of there was something missing. It's a coffee table, so decided to make this piggy coffee table. I also use a CNC router, but in kind of a different way. Just wanted to use like a volumetric structure and just make it, cut them and make a grid basically. Cool, all the parts. This might not be great for IKEA probably. But this assembly took me more time than I imagined. It's just like a lot of pieces and a lot of glue. Kind of don't like using wood screw if possible, so there's no wood screws on any of the previous line and this one. Here's the piggy feeding the piglets, breastfeeding. And here she's resting, taking a nap. Okay. Next work, also using the shop bot, was a CNC art. I'm not a very good painter. I wish I could. So, I wanted to use the shop bot to make the art for me. So started doing some experiments on regular office paper and pen, but just kind of like the pressure and the pen was not really right. So I kind of modified a pen that I'll show you in a few minutes, and also experiment with brushes. These are really nice markers that have like a soft brush tip. And different ways of attaching and different ways of zeroing your pen, or in this case marker, yeah, like that one, give you different results, which is pretty nice. And then I made this huge drawing. This one took like 8 hours. I think I could probably make it better. So the way I made the pen, because if not it will just tear the paper, I grabbed that spring and basically epoxied into the case of the pen, like the red piece, the top piece, and epoxied it down there. So I had that spring action, like a car suspension. So it was giving me pressure, but not just tear the paper or canvas in this case. I did first the drawing with a pen on a paper. And the way I made it match the diameter of the collet was just using blue tape. So I would wrap it around like that and just say, oh, perfect. And tape is like spongy enough, it won't break the collet. So yeah, it wasn't me. Just kidding. An illustration, I wanted to do also art. That project inspired me in like doing more 2D art, and I wanted to use Illustrator. It's been a while since I haven't used it, and there's a style called WPAP that Indonesian guy created, and it was more psychedelic poster style. So I grabbed a picture of Maradona, greatest soccer player in the history. I created this psychedelic, and then it was too psychedelic for me, so I chose the other one and grabbed and printed on the VersaCAM on a piece of canvas. It's cool. And then I stretched, I had to make those stretcher bars, and so basically, I had to cut the pieces. It was a lot of work, really. It seems so easy, but yeah, I finally put the staples on it, and try and be neat on the corners, and stretch as much as you can. So, and there's the 2D drawing. One of the projects that, when I have friends coming over, that I do some tours, and they're all excited, but one of the favorite pieces are like Amanda's 3D printed photographs, and they're like one of my favorites. So Amanda used processing, which is way too complicated for me, but talking with her, she recommended, she knew a way that you could do it with 3D Max, and kind of played around with it, and then 3D printed this image of Maradona, of course. So when you have backlight, you see that, and when you don't, you see it. So it's pretty fun. My main goal for this project, I'm planning on working whenever I have time, basically, but it's making actually a ball. This is a truncated icosahedron made of pentagons and hexagons, and maybe put each side of different world champions. I don't know. Hopefully, I can make it for the World Cup. This is in July or June, I think. Or I want to play more with this also, with this concept, mapping of picture, but on a 3D surface. So this is a tree bark. It could be a candle holder. Yeah. We have great 3D printers, and I love like those kid robot toys, and I wanted to make my own Maradona, and Darth Vader, and Ronaldo, Brazil. So in this case, I printed 2 of them, and I hand painted them. It was interesting, and I was pretty happy about it. Do some matte finish, and then just could be cool stop animation now. And Darth Vader is not in the dark side anymore. In this project, I wanted, how cool is that to have a mini nuclear power plant in your desk? So I wanted to basically I wanted to do a 3-part mold. And so I 3D printed the model. So it's a version of the nuclear power plant in plastic, and I went ahead and made a urethane mold. Urethane is really fun because it's easy to work with, really. There's kind of like I thought I was going to have some problems with bubbles and stuff like that. It's perfect, really. If you want to do some molds and cast some concrete, it's pretty good. Here's the finished piece of the mold, 3-part mold. Very interesting shape, the one on the left. And then this was ready to just cast the pencil holder. This is an interesting project, and it's a story of failures and success combined. And so I had this design in my head, a clock that's like a step-by-step, goes down and up. But I imagined this product made out of concrete, really. So I wanted to make, a quick mold. that you could laser cut, and just assemble together quickly, and then pour concrete over it, right? So I really painted it and put some mold release. In this case, I'm measuring the volume. That's the right. It's a good way of measuring. Here I put some mold release, but it's not very ideal for release because that's how I struggled. And this is the front of the clock, beautiful. This is the back. So okay, maybe it's the medium, like the plywood's not great for making 2D molds. Why, maybe the wood absorbs the water of the concrete. Let's do it plastic, zero absorption. Same process, put some mold release, cast it, and beautiful, almost, so boom. So I said, okay, I really love the design. I want to make it. So I wanted to use Shotbot again, but make 3D surfaces. So in this case, it was my first attempt of making a double-sided machining. So this is like the finishing pass. The first one is like with a bigger bit, and then you basically flip it. It's not that fast and that easy, but but it's really simple. The way it should, you approach the manufacturing is simple. This is what you end up with. Those dowels that you see are for the placement. So when you flip it, it's aligned where it should be. And then you cut it with a bandsaw. As the finishing pass was not very well, like the step over, I don't want to get too complicated, but it was, each line that it was cutting, it was like, it was a big step, I can talk later about that. But I hand finished it, and then I wanted to chamfer the edges, so I used a table router and assembled the clock. So it's fun, I was happy that I finally made it. Maybe not the material I intended, but I'm happy. So that led to this project. This is a sunglass coffin. My dad had a beautiful eyeglass case that was out of wood, so I wanted to make one for myself. And it's essentially the same process, two-sided machining with a Shotbot, roughing pass and then finishing pass. Each time you turn or you switch the bit, or you turn the side, you need to zero down. That's like the plate. So yeah, it was fun. Then there were some places where the bit didn't get to, so I had to drill the holes for the hinges. And there were funny angles, so I had to actually turn the drill press. And I looked for the smallest hinges that I could find, and these are the barrel hinges that I used, mini barrel hinges, 5 millimeters diameter. And the way it snaps together is with a magnet. So magnet on the other side. Cleaning it, and the finish is oil and wax. So natural stuff for your sunglasses. Yeah, this is the process of first pictures. So first day I get into this office. Noah had his, the Air credit card on like in a clamp, and that was the place the credit card lived, basically. So so now this is okay. This is great, but I want to see. I want to make something that's for that credit card. So this was inspired from a Pulp Fiction movie. One of the first scenes, Samuel Jackson gets, like there's a robbery, and they ask him for his wallet. Says the bad motherfucker wallet. So I put it on the laser and laser etch it, and now that's where it lives. this is the last project I'll show. So this is a pinhole camera. I love photography, but nobody ever uses now like the film anymore. So I wanted to make a pinhole camera that was printed and just put up your film and start shooting. First, I printed it white and then painted it black. So it has to have no sunlight in, and I'm still working on this project. But what's really cool about this camera is that it has interchangeable pinhole lenses. So it's pretty cool. Okay. Well, thank you for everyone. It's been a great experience. I've learned a lot, and I couldn't be more happy with this experience, and hope to see you guys. It's been like a family for me, and yeah, I'll definitely miss you guys. Well, there's we got a slideshow, but yeah. Any questions?
What do you use to model?
That's a good question. I use Rhino to model, and then 3D Max to rendering. So yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, STL file. You mean that? How do? So you need a STL file and just take it. And the Shopbot has a software that's the one I use. It'll take you probably half an hour just to set it up, but it's not that hard. It's 3D partworks 3D. Yeah.
I know it's all classified at SRA International, but did Kate Witherspoon
Yeah.
with your robot clothing?
Yeah, she's actually in the same building that I am. Yeah, but she's on a different robot. Yeah.
What are different size lenses for an interchangeable pinhole lens camera?
Oh, so apparently, there's a recommended setting for. So for example, the length of how far it is and the diameter changes the way the image reflection size of the print. So this is like the standard for 35 millimeter film roll, but if you have you could actually use the same equation, but maybe use a shorter and smaller, and you probably want a longer and bigger hole, but I don't feel it's such a big value. It's a value for the designer probably more than. Sorry?
What is the f-stop number for the smallest pinhole?
Oh, I don't remember, but I have the chart. It's there's actually a website called mrpinhole.com or something like that, which you can build your own. But yeah.
How do you set the exposure time on the pinhole camera?
Yeah, I need to work on shutter, but it's like a second. So you just yeah. But it depends on the sunlight. But if you're probably right now it's not a great. Well, it's kind of cloudy, so yeah, it might be 2 seconds. But yeah, I'm still working on it. So.
How's the image sharpness?
Now it's kind of exposed
Yeah.
because I need to work on I have it's not super light proof. So I made a lock that is actually the viewfinder is the lock in this case. So you can open it like that. And when you're turning the film, kind of like wobbles here. So the tests I have were not great.
What did you use for an actual aperture, like on the front, to let the light in?
I use a pin to make the pinhole.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because the quality of the 3D print, I made up like it should be like 0.5 millimeter or something like that. The diameter of the pin. But
If you're not interested in rapid exposures, you can go to a very fine needle.
yeah,
Perforated, the sewing needle,
yeah,
a sheet of thin brass should stop.
yes.
You can get maybe 2-3 minute exposures with weather.
Oh yeah, it'll be.
And very good.
I'd love to. Yeah, I thought like 3D printing could make a really thin hole, but when I actually printed the first one, there was no hole visible. You know, I had to poke the hole myself. But yeah, ideally, if the print is perfect and you can like make that 0.5 or 0.1 millimeter diameter just from the print would be ideal. It would be just perfect. Yeah.
Are you going back to Argentina, or are you hanging around?
No, I'm going back to the SRI. Yeah. Yeah, this was fun. This SRI stuff is kind of long, and it's a long process. The project's been for 4 years already, and it's so, and it's super interesting, but it's not as creative as this. So, yeah. Jay.
What's your process for prototyping your prints?
Like those ones, or?
Yeah, getting them comfortable.
So I've iterated a few designs, and I kind of know what dimensions and angles work already from previous experience. And but the first time I started making furniture was basically grabbing a chair that felt comfortable and measuring it, just like having the angles and the height, and width, getting it right. In this case, the legs are in a chair, in an angle, sorry, legs. And it's a 10-degree angle, and it makes the seat more comfortable. Like grab your rear, okay? And if I had used like a 15-degree angle, I think that just the legs would slip. But I think I was lucky with a 10-degree. I mean, yeah, I made the early prototype is upstairs. It's like a rustic plywood, no melamine or no pre-finished walnut or maple. Yeah, but I think it's just like grabbing a chair you like or feel like it's comfortable, and just that's what I used at first. And now I kind of know what works. Yeah. Cool. Great.
What's your favorite project out of the million projects that you worked on?
I think I like the story of the clock. It feels like I was gonna throw everything out. It's like I failed in 2 ways and invested time, and then it kind of like last weekend basically I had flipped, and I had it made and kind of happy. Yeah, I think the clock is like kind of reflects my journey. It's just like hitting and going, changing routes and trying multiple things. Yeah. Cool. Who's gonna do the Instructable on the bathroom? Well, thank you.